In the 1950s, psychoanalysis dominated the world of psychotherapy across America and Europe, especially after the spread of Sigmund Freud's groundbreaking ideas about the unconscious, defense mechanism, and the dynamic relationship between therapist and client. Freud's work didn't end with him. It continued through the new Freudians, figures like Anna Freud, Karen Horney, and Melanie Klein, who expanded psychoanalytic techniques and made them the most widely used form of therapy in clinics and hospitals. At the time, new psychotherapists had limited choices when it came to schools of thought. Psychoanalysis was the dominant and prestigious approach. Among these new therapists was one who entered the psychoanalytical school, a training that required new practitioners to undergo 3 years of personal analysis before obtaining their license. But this young therapist disagreed with the core principles of psychoanalysis. What disturbed him most was its heavy focus on the patient's past experiences, digging up old memories as a path to healing. He found this method slow, ineffective, and overly backward looking. So he developed a new vision for therapy, one based on correcting faulty thoughts and beliefs that cause distress and harm to the individual. This method would later be known as cognitive therapy, then cognitive behavior therapy, aka CBT. Over time, CBT became one of the most effective and evidence based forms of psychotherapy in the world, revealing even medication in its results. In this video, we will explore the key ideas behind CBT and its founder, who passed away in 2021 at the age of 100 years, Dr. Aaron Beck. In this video, we will cover the most basic ideas of Aaron Beck. We're going to talk about the three levels of cognition, thinking errors, and the cognitive view of the self, the world, and the future. For Aaron Beck, human experience is defined by our constant effort to create meaning out of everything we go through. Once a person becomes self aware and develops the ability to form thoughts, memories, and interpretations, they begin assigning meaning to every life event. Each memory or experience is stored as a multi dimensional event. It includes a physical sensation, an emotion, and a thought, or a set of thoughts. This make up what Beck called a cognitive schema, the mental framework that determines how we perceive ourselves and the world. This concept directly challenged Freud's idea of the psychic apparatus. Every experience, whether healthy or unhealthy, emotional or neutral, contributes to this cognitive framework that shapes our behavior and identity. Beck divided the cognitive schema into three levels: automatic thoughts, assumptions and attitudes, and core beliefs. Automatic thoughts are like the tip of the iceberg, quick, surface level reactions that appear instantly in response to a situation. Imagine a friend who avoids the relationships. When asked why, he says, romantic relationships just aren't for me. That thought didn't appear from nowhere. It's based on a deeper assumption or value, parts of the middle layer which Beck called assumptions and attitudes. This could sound like, I must be perfect to be loved. It sounds like a statement that the person says to himself. If automatic thoughts are the sparks, then assumptions are the fuel that keeps them alive. At the deepest level, there are core beliefs, deeply rooted convictions formed in early life. These beliefs often emerge from painful or traumatic experiences, such as rejection, neglect, or loss, and they shape the assumptions and thoughts that follow. Beck didn't dismiss emotions or physiology from this framework. In fact, he highlighted the importance of emotional and bodily reactions in the development of psychological disorder. As he famously said, it's not the situation itself that causes our emotions, but how we interpret it. CBT, however, is not about positive thinking or blind optimism. It's about correcting distorted thoughts that don't align with reality. Through his clinical work, Beck observed that depressed patients often had hostile inner voices. They had thoughts like, I am worthless, I don't deserve love, or my life isn't worth living. He also noticed that people with social anxiety constantly fixated their attention on their own flaws, convinced that everyone was judging them. These cognitive distortions stem from biased or irrational interpretations of events.
Thinking, but in the thinking of the depression is not focused on internal sensations as it is with the panic, but has to do with their own beliefs about themselves, about their future, and about their past. And so one can deal directly with the way they're interpreting their external events at that time.
Beck identified several common thinking errors, such as all or nothing thinking, believing you must be perfect or you failed completely, emotional reasoning, which is interpreting situations based solely on emotions rather than facts. Another thinking trap or error is discounting the positives, which is ignoring your achievements and focusing on only the negatives. Even the smartest people fell into these traps. Beck believed the heart of therapy lies in learning, helping individuals become their own therapists through self awareness. He encouraged patients to use Socratic questioning, or what he called guided discovery, a process where the therapist helps the clients to examine their distorted beliefs by asking thoughtful, open ended questions. Questions like, is this thought really true? Or is this thought helpful? If a thought isn't true based on evidence, it can be replaced with one that's closer to reality. And if it is true but unhelpful, the focus shifts to finding a more adaptive way to respond. Example, in a scenario A, we have a student who fails a major exam and he thinks, I am a failure. There is no point in trying again. In scenario B, the same student fails the same exam and thinks, I didn't do well this time, but if I study better, I can improve. Both experienced the same event, but their interpretations differ. The second student's adaptive thinking helps them recover faster and stay motivated. That's the essence of CBT. Your past matters, but it doesn't define your future. Throughout his career, Aaron Beck worked with countless patients. Patients with depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, addiction, social phobia, and more. Unlike psychoanalysis, CBT didn't take years to explore childhood memories or discuss the Oedipus complex. Instead, it focused on helping patients build new ways of thinking through self awareness, learning, and skill building. For example, a depressed person who stays in bed all day can learn to set small, meaningful goals. Each small achievements bring a spark of satisfaction, slowly reshaping their self-perception and building a healthier identity. What made CBT revolutionary was its practicality and humanity. It doesn't dwell exclusively on the past, doesn't assume we are destined to repeat our parents' mistakes, and doesn't require endless years of therapy to see progress. It was born from a simple but powerful observation. It's not the situation itself that causes our emotions, but how we interpret it. I am Akram from Psych Notes. If you are interested in deep psychology and personality insights, subscribe to the channel for more content like this.
People tend to be genetically wired to be able to attach more significance to the negatives than to the positives. And so it does take training the mind to focus on what's good. And what you'll find is that there are more good things that are happening than bad things, but the bad things tend to overshadow the good things. And so it is a question of focus.